The restoration of Gahanna's one-room schoolhouse has been a tiring yet rewarding experience for the Gahanna members active in this project. The idea took shape when Gahanna Lincoln High School teacher Tom Gregory noticed an old brick building on the side of the road near the YMCA. He decided to investigate.
It started 3 years ago when I was driving down the road past the Gahanna Y, and I had noticed this garage, and I looked a little closer at it, and I thought, my gosh, I think that might be a one-room schoolhouse, but I didn't know.
The project expanded, with Gregory campaigning for the salvation of the Gahanna one-room schoolhouse to individuals across the entire community.
A year after that, I found out through the paper that the city had bought the property. Both of the buildings were in disrepair. They didn't know anything about the history and were set to demolish those buildings. And so I raced into the city. Luckily, I had already done the research, and I talked to them, let them know what the schoolhouse was, or the garage was once a one-room schoolhouse. And so they agreed to let us try to raise money and allow that building to sit there.
He soon found Jan Elzy, another man interested in restoring the schoolhouse and who has always had a love for preserving history.
Who I want to introduce now, I can't say enough about what he's done for this project. I didn't exactly know what I was getting myself into. It sounded like a great idea to restore a one-room school. And I thought, it's one building. Can't be that difficult. Luckily, he's the one that contacted me. And I said, oh, absolutely. I'd love you to help. And I don't know how I would have done it. I don't think it would have been possible. Jan has made such a huge impact. He saved the windows from the building. He built the tower. He saved the door. That building is authentic as we can possibly make it with the materials that are left. And he put in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours just out of the goodness of his heart, because he loves history, he loves this community.
I like old structures. I feel once they're gone, they're gone. I would rather have children have a chance to experience the history rather than read a plaque that says, here once stood the Jefferson Township No. 2 school. It's much more interesting for them. They learn much more coming in and spending 2 days here going to school than reading a plaque. And that's the main reason why I got involved.
With these two men at the front of the campaign, nothing seemed impossible, except containing the budget to a reasonable, attainable price.
I introduced the idea to the school board at the time, and they were all very excited about it. And then we began the task of raising money. The superintendent, Mr. Scrucci, sat down with the mayor of Gahanna, and we all talked about, and were in agreement about how to progress. A number of businesses, individuals, and organizations all donated money, but we got to a point where we had raised $60,000, and I had exhausted. And it was a tough economy. It's still a tough economy at the time. And I had almost abandoned the idea that we wouldn't be able to do the schoolhouse. Dale Ford approached me to speak to the Gahanna Jefferson Education Foundation about the project. And I said, well, I can, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen. And so I spoke to the foundation. And the foundation does so many good things for the teachers in this district. All kinds of programs here, and they've made such a difference. But I mean, we were 20,000 short. And then about a half hour after I left the meeting, I got word that they were going to make up the difference. And from the point when I went into the meeting, I thought after 2 years of all this work and everything, I didn't think it would be happening. They made sure that it happened.
With the funds in order, it was time to begin the planning and construction phases of the project. All of the bricks from the original one-room schoolhouse building were preserved for the new addition of a Gahanna monument, but one question remained: where would we build the schoolhouse? Initially, the plans were set to construct the schoolhouse behind Gahanna Middle School South. After much contemplation, the board members decided to move the schoolhouse to a more prominent location in the community.
The one-room schoolhouse that we're working as a school to restore, the location was originally supposed to be at Middle School South. The superintendent and Scott Schmidt, the director of business and operations, all agreed that they wanted it to be more visible to the community. So they decided to move the location. It's between the high school and Lincoln Elementary, behind the football stadium back there. It'll be a very public location, visible to the community and everyone else. It'll make it easier for people in the community to visit the schoolhouse as well.
Many students helped out with the restoration of the Gahanna one-room schoolhouse. Art classes at the high school helped assemble three-dimensional cardboard schoolhouses to display around the community and generate awareness for the schoolhouse project. Architecture students at the Eastland Fairfield Career Center, located in Lincoln High School's Clark Hall, were also working on the drafting proofs for the schoolhouse's new location near the elementary and high school.
Hello, my name is Trevor Swanson. I'm from Pickering to North. I'm an out-of-district student that's a part of the architecture construction management class. I've been interning at a firm. The firm's called George Park and Associates. It's located near Creekside, and they are in charge of doing the construction drawings for the Gahanna Schoolhouse. And my involvement of the project has been doing the drafting of the construction drawings. I've been working on these for about 3 weeks. They've gone through about 4 revisions. And I've put about 4 hours a day, 5 days a week on these. They have been submitted to the zoning department last Friday. So I think it takes about 4 weeks for them to be approved.
In addition, some of the other architecture students helped to build a three-dimensional model of the schoolhouse to be put on display in the various Gahanna Jefferson schools across the district.
We were given a packet of information containing all of the necessary details about the schoolhouse that we're going to be recreating, and basically we're going to be making a model 3D of the schoolhouse, and it's going to be placed on the school grounds of Lincoln Elementary, and the display of our model is going to be put at Gahanna, maybe in the elementary school and at the high school, and we hope it goes great.
Another important task was collecting all of the trinkets and memorabilia to be displayed in the finished one-room schoolhouse. Tom Gregory shares with us how he organized and set up donations for the Gahanna Schoolhouse.
And then the building was taken apart and stored for the winter. And I spent the winter myself collecting desks, items, people from all over Central Ohio, the state, outside of the state, all over the nation. Just through the internet, it's amazing. When people heard what we were doing, sent us items.
The restoration team received many material donations for schoolhouse furnishing purposes. Items included bookshelves, vintage postcards, antique books, slates, McGuffey readers, oil lamps, pencil boxes, vintage Ohio maps, old textbooks, antique typewriters, handheld school bells, antique ink wells, and the list extends to include an assortment of educational items used in the 1800s. In addition to the original bricks used in the construction of Gahanna's refurbished one-room schoolhouse, all of the slate and the windows were keepsakes from the initial schoolhouse. This project was one enormous task that required expert planning, generous funding, and countless hours of laborious dedication. Now that the schoolhouse is complete, it is safe to say that all of the hard work spent designing and executing a plan for restoration has paid off.